Hey guys, it's Alex from Cinematography, and today I'm going to be bringing you a middle-of-the-week review of Rogue One, a Star Wars story. And I'm kind of off-center, so I'm going to adjust the tripod just a teeny bit. Okay, that's probably the best thing to do. So yeah, Rogue One. I apologize if my voice sounds a little bad. I'm kind of fighting off the cold, a cold. So, but yeah. This is actually one of my better days. So, but anyway, Rogue One, a Star Wars story. We're going to start with the story. So the story is actually the opening text crawl to A New Hope. Is that the Empire is making this super weapon, the Death Star, and a team has gone out to try to find the plans for the Death Star so that the Rebel Alliance can destroy it. Sorry. Alright. I'm going to probably be reaching down for my water a couple times in this. And coughing, because I'm still trying to get better, but, you know. Okay, so that's basically the story. Let's get straight into characters. The first character is Jyn Erso. She's the daughter of the guy that the Empire recruited to help build the Death Star, to help finish the Death Star at least. And they basically want her to go find her father to try to, I guess, like, he sent a message to the rebels, and they're trying to get to him to see if they can destroy the Death Star or something. It was something like that. I didn't catch that beginning part. Also, sorry if I'm a little scraggly. I just haven't shaved yet. So, but Jyn basically becomes the leader of the Rogue One group, and is a pretty good character. A good, strong female character. Other members of the Rogue One crew include, there's Captain Andor. He's pretty cool. He has some conflicts towards the beginning, but he's a good character. There's the pilot, the Imperial defector pilot. He defects from the Empire. Anyway, he's kind of interesting because something happens to him early on where he kind of now has to, become a new character. It's weird to describe, but you'll get it if you watch the movie. Other than that, there's a blind guy who's, and I didn't get any of their names. There's a blind guy played by Donnie Yen, I think is his name, and he's pretty cool. He's just kind of he's kind of like the wise older man, but he's still, I don't know, he's a bit more interesting than just the wise older man. But he's blind, and he kind of uses the Force, or he just kind of rationalizes that the Force guides him. So, and then his friend, again, didn't catch the name of this dude, but he's pretty cool. He's a good, I guess, foil to Donnie Yen. And then they have a droid. Droid's name I didn't get either. Sorry, but the droid, I was kind of worried. If you watch Star Wars Rebels, which you know I do because I did reviews over the first 2 seasons, I was afraid from the trailers he was just going to be Chopper again. You know, kind of an a-hole droid, you know, just a jerk and stuff, but he's not really. He's just very concerned about things, so he can be a bit standoffish. So, that's characters. We are going, and, well, I guess there's more characters than that, but there's not much to talk about. The villain, technically, the villain that's, or the Imperial person that's most focused on, the director, I don't remember his name either. It was like Orson Kersnick or something? I don't remember. Okay, sorry. Yeah, he's interesting because they kind of get into this, like, because you never hear about this guy in A New Hope, and I might go into that more in the spoiler section. But basically, like, he has this thing where he's trying to gain respect amongst the Imperials, and he's trying to be a great power in the Empire. And he's kind of getting sidestepped by Grand Moff Tarkin and stuff. And yeah, Tarkin's in this, which is pretty cool. Which, if you've only seen the movies, you probably won't care that Tarkin is back, because I think he only appeared in New Hope. But again, I watch Rebels. He became sort of a main villain towards the end of season 1, and he's a really cool character. So yeah, that's kind of all I'm gonna say about the characters. There's not really much else. There's some supporting characters, but it's mostly the Rogue One crew and the director. Oh, excuse me. I'm so sniffly and stuff. Okay, whew. I don't know if I cut that out or not. I probably didn't. I'm not going to do too much editing on this video so I can get it out. So we're going to move on to cinematography and special effects. You can kind of notice this from the trailer. The cinematography, it's really, really good. Like, it's very great cinematography. The director of this is the same director... is the same guy that directed Godzilla in 2014, and for all the problems of the Godzilla movie, it is a well-shot movie. Like, it's very good looking, and Rogue One is too. So it's interesting because if you watch Rogue One and then you watch any other Star Wars movie, it does not look the same. Especially, like, if you're like me, like, tonight I'm gonna go watch A New Hope, probably, because now I'm all into Star Wars again. And, yeah, it's like, it doesn't quite look the same as A New Hope. Obviously, there's about a 40-year difference, just about. So, obviously, it's not gonna look exactly the same, but even if you look at The Force Awakens... The Force Awakens looks different from Rogue One. Like, and they're both beautiful movies, but there's something about it that... I don't know, there's just something about it, like... I feel like The Force Awakens is a more colorful movie, but Rogue One is still colorful, just in a different style, I guess. I don't know, it's kind of a weird way to put it, but yeah. For special effects, it's Star Wars. It's modern Star Wars. The effects in The Force Awakens were pretty good. So, yeah, there's nothing much to say about that. It's pretty good. Good effects. There were a lot of good shots in the Death Star. Like, in the trailer, you can see a lot of those, like, you know, the Death Star over the horizon or eclipsing the sun was pretty cool. Some of the explosions were actually pretty cool. So, yeah. Oh, okay, sorry. Still trying to heal and recover, so. We're gonna move on to music and sound. The music, I believe this is the first time that John Williams did not do the music for a main series. Or not a main series Star Wars movie, but just a Star Wars movie. Except maybe the Clone Wars, I don't know. More on the Clone Wars later. Spoilers. Anyway. You still don't know what I'm talking about, no matter what I say. So, yeah, music and sound is pretty exceptional. Again, it's Star Wars, so if you like the sound effects in The Force Awakens, you're still gonna like it in Rogue One. No jump scares this time around, you know. I always try to give you a sort of jump scare counter, jump scare warning. Is like, nope, no jump scares. That's pretty good in my book. I hate jump scares. Oop, almost dropped my water bottle. Movie length, movie length is up next. Here is the movie length. It didn't feel long at all. I was actually thinking, like, there's not... this sounds stupid, but there are 3 acts, which, again, that sounds stupid, but it's kind of like 3 acts, but there's not like too many scenes in each act. Does that make any sense? But like, they go and they do one thing, that's act 1. They go, they do another thing, that's act 2, and then act 3. Which, that sounds so, like, duh, that's how the 3-act structure works. But like, in something like Revenge of the Sith. Revenge of the Sith might be a 3-act movie, but by God, it feels like there's a million acts. But whereas, take A New Hope, for example. I guess it's a simplified plot, I guess, which leads to a simple movie length. Because in New Hope, you have the scenes on Tatooine, and then the scenes on the Death Star, and going to the Rebel base. And then you have the finale when they're destroying the Death Star, I think. It's been a while since I've watched A New Hope. But, at least a year, I guess, because I watched it leading up to Force Awakens, but yeah, it's strange to describe, but I guess it's sort of the simplicity of the movie structure, so, yeah. So it's not that long. I'm pretty sure there's no after credits scene. This is normally on my list. Next is after credits scene. There's no after credits. Like, now if I'm wrong and there is an after credits scene, I will put if there is an after credits scene right here. But if nothing appeared, that means I'm right. Basically, I don't think there would be. I didn't stay around to find out because what would be the after credits scene? The next movie is A New Hope. So, we're going to go into a few spoilers right now. So this is a big spoiler warning. You can, if you haven't seen the movie yet, you can go down in the description and jump to my final verdict. And so if you haven't seen the movie, I'll see you guys there in just a second. But for those of you that have seen the movie, let's stick around and let's talk some spoilers. Darth Vader shows up, and oh my God, he is so cool. Oh, I love Darth Vader so much. And it's great, even though I have seen him in Rebels recently, it's so great to see Vader here. Like, no matter what you do, if you get some dude in that suit and you get James Earl Jones, Vader is just always amazing. So, I was kind of saying earlier, the director's kind of getting the shaft in the Empire. He's kind of getting the shaft in the Empire, and that's because Tarkin shows up, like I said, and he basically takes over the Death Star control, takes control of the Death Star, which we see in Episode 4, so that's really cool. Other things to mention in the spoiler, it's not gonna be a long spoiler section. I'm just gonna kind of hit some main points. At the end, the entire Rogue One crew dies. They just do. They're killed by the Death Star. The planet doesn't explode. Surprisingly, the Death Star has a low setting to where they can just destroy a city, so that's news to me. But yeah, the entire crew dies at the end of the movie, so it's kind of sad, but it is sad because you see, because they don't all die from the Death Star. Pretty much most of them die, and then the Death Star attacks. So, other things to talk about with spoilers, not a lot that comes to mind. Bail Organa is there. This is just a random thing to talk about, but Bail Organa is there. He's the adoptive father of Leia, and it's the same actor from the prequel trilogy, and I thought that was pretty cool that they didn't just get another guy, they got that guy back. So it basically ties in the prequel trilogy somewhat to Rogue One, which is cool. And he mentions that they have to if they're going to take down the Death Star with these plans, they need, like, I think, Mon Mothma, what do you say? I don't know. She, like, tells Bail, like, maybe we need your Jedi friend. And, like, and Bail's like, yes, he was a good friend during the Clone Wars, and that's alluding to Obi-Wan Kenobi. And he basically sends Leia to give the information of the Death Star to Obi-Wan, and that's where A New Hope takes place. You do see Leia at the end, and that was interesting. They kind of like CG'd just a girl to look like Carrie Fisher, which they did that with Tarkin. They just had a guy as Tarkin, and then they CG'd his face because Peter Cushing like died over 20 years ago. So they CG'd him to look exactly like Peter Cushing, and it was an amazing job. And it was just cool to see Tarkin again. Like, they keep bringing back this character. I'm all for it. Other things to talk about, spoilers, there's not much. The only other thing I can talk about is there's no lightsabers until the end. Now, that doesn't mean that, there's a secret Jedi and he goes and fights Vader or something. It's like, no, there are no Jedi in this movie, which is interesting. Because they didn't tie it into Rebels at all, which I wish they had, but whatever. Too late now. But there's no lightsaber until the end. You saw, because if you're watching this, then you watch the movie. But I love that in that corridor where you just see all the rebel forces, or not the rebel forces, but rebel soldiers. They just have their gun aimed at just the shadows, and you're like, oh, what's over there? And you hear Darth Vader's breathing, and you're like, oh crap, he's about to, like, the lights are gonna turn on, and he's gonna, wreck house. And the lights don't turn on, but his lightsaber does, and that reveal is amazing. He starts hacking away at dudes, trying to take back the Death Star plans. So, yeah, again, Vader is just amazing, just anywhere. So, yeah. So that's pretty much all for spoilers. So, for everyone that hasn't seen the movie, welcome back. We're going to get into my final verdict now. My final verdict for Rogue One, A Star Wars Story, is an A. An A, not an... better than an A minus. Maybe A plus. Maybe. Like, really, really close. Like, A plus is the highest grade, pretty much, I can give a movie. I would give this, like, just below. Because it's really hard for me to find that A plus movie. I like, have I given an A plus to anything? Watch. No one's gonna look through my reviews to see if I gave an A plus to anything. If I did, then I don't know. Maybe I was early into my grading scale, but I'm trying to sit up. My back hurts, and I'm sick. So yeah, A, just an A, not an A plus. But it was a really solid movie. I really liked it. It's really, really good. The more I keep thinking about it, and the tie-ins to A New Hope they're well paced. Like when they reference like they gotta go find this guy, or they gotta get the Death Star plans to this person or something. It's like, it's good, and it's not like just a wink and a nod. Like see that thing, and it's like, it's more tied in well. I don't even know if I'm making sense anymore. I'm sick, I'm tired, and it's like, not even 4 o'clock in the afternoon, I'm freaking tired. Oh, boy. Yeah, it's a really solid movie, and I'd recommend you go see it, but you probably have. So, yeah, that's pretty much it for Rogue One, A Star Wars Story. I've given my grade. So yeah. So be sure to like and subscribe. We've probably gotten into that end card. Like and subscribe. You can subscribe like right here or something, or maybe it's over here. There are 2 videos you can watch. And yeah, there's something coming up on Christmas Day that I hope you guys stick around and watch because it's going to be amazing. So I'm Alex from 7th Hour Films, and I will see you guys next time.